So I feel kind of weird. I was feeling weird about joining a group on Facebook. Um I think I've joined it before, and when you go to whatever venue you're supposed to be following, when you go there, they try and say hello, and they're like, I know this person, and sort of get to know you in real life. And I'm like, that's a bit sus. So I decided to leave it before it gets any more like weird, because am planning to go to the venue sometime soon, and I don't want people like going, "Oh, hi, you part of my group and stuff." And it's like, I'm not really very comfortable with it. I think before they threatened me because they didn't like my response to knowing that they know who I am and stuff. So, I think someone, took out a bit of I don't know, they threatened me somehow, and I was like, oh, that's crappy, and then they said, oh, we think it's best you're probably not part of the group anymore, and so I went home, and I think I disconnected from it back a while ago, like in the mid-2000s, and anyway, and, I was watching Britney Spears, and it's like I got this ad pop up saying, this fantastic group, and I join it, and it's like 75 people have joined up, so it's not really big and fantastic like the pop-up says. And then, I look at the icon, and I'm like, I've seen this icon before. It's like, I think I've been part of this group before, and I had a bad experience them trying to get to know you in real life, like when you're visiting at the venue. And I was like, that's a bit of a turn off for me. Like, it goes past following an online group and gets you face to face with people you don't really want to know. So you're like, who on earth does everyone think they are? And making Daryl internet real life. So I disconnected from it. So I said, screw it, I can start my own page, see how many people join up or whatever if I really want. But other than that, I can collect my own photos and my own images and whatnot. So I disconnected from today. But to the good side, I disconnected it way after I disconnected from the Britney Spears fan site, which I thought was a little too boring. It was literally like watching YouTube, but with still pictures. So I said, well, if I want a Britney Spears kick, I can search for her on YouTube and stuff, and it's just as exciting as that fan page, whose images and stuff were literally from YouTube clips and stuff. So but I don't know, I should feel good. I don't feel good or bad about leaving groups. I just feel like, I don't know, I wish it wasn't such of a negative thing. Like, I didn't feel like I needed to leave it, so just so I can go to a venue and not have people say, oh, I know you. So I was going to go whenever my parents going on their Gold Coast trip, but they said they're leaving at 7 o'clock in the morning, and none of the good shows are on until 12 or 10. No, literally 12 midday. And I wanted to see Catwoman. She's not on tomorrow too, so was on at 3, but maybe she's not on there anymore. I don't know, but whatever the case, I was gonna go tomorrow, but then I was like, if they're leaving here at 7, I would be dropped by, in 40 minutes, so it's like 7:40. The place doesn't open until 9:30, so I just think, nah, better just, because she's leaving so early, it'd be better off to just go on whenever when she's on holiday or whatever, So, but I find it stressful to go. Like, I'm literally, like, stressed out, to go travel all by myself. I was looking forward to maybe getting a lift there and coming back on train. What I could do is go there, when she's coming back and get her to pick me up. So I could do that too. Either way, I'm gonna go maybe Monday, or maybe tomorrow, but later on during the day, or whenever, and hopefully that will be good. I feel more comfortable taking train rides now, but I do want to just go early in the mornings most of the time. Like, my instincts are, like, usually, if I used to leave here or wherever I lived at around 6:37. No. Yeah, I think I used to live further away. So I used to, like, leave, like, 7 or so. And then I used to get there, like, around 8:30 and wait around half an hour. Because they used to be open at 9. So wait around half an hour. And then I used to, like, wander around nice and early before anyone's come in. But the best time to go for me is probably in the afternoons at around 3, which is when the Catwoman show used to be on. It was on at 3 last month. I don't know if it's on, maybe it's on Monday. So, because afternoon, less crowds, and with the sun sinking, it sort of gives a calm atmosphere, I guess. The only thing is, it starts to get dark, but I like it. I like the afternoons. You feel like it's a breath of fresh air. Everyone's come and gone and everything's winding down. So, but I do get a bit nervous sometimes, and I'm not always sure, like, how staff are going to be like, because in the past, I've had a tough time there, and I would hate for anyone to, like, give me a tough time now, but I had a breakdown when there, and they haven't really picked on me since. They said, oh, we won't pick on you anymore because you don't want it. So, because they were kind of trying to treat you like you're porn or something. So I was like, and they were saying, like, I was a slut, and, teasing, like, kids get teased when they meet, negativity like in those movies where they meet, like, teen hate or get picked on the internet, like cyber bullying or something. And it's like they were acting like that, and I was sort of yelling at them and having a breakdown, because I don't like to be called mean names. I've never been called mean names, and they're not high school, and they're acting like they are, and they're the only people who've ever called me, like, a mean name. And, so I was sort of yelling, because I used to yell a lot when, I meet confrontation. I used to just yell at people. So, when I was younger, so, and so I just yelled at them. I cried, and one of the characters came forward and was walking me out the door, giving me a hug, telling me maybe, I should think about going to other places that suit me better, and obviously, and then the cops came in and they said, take your hand off that child, and they almost arrested the guy, because, he literally had, like, his hand draped around my shoulder, and, and they were like, that's, like, child molestation or whatever. So, even though I was, like, in my early 20s at the time, and I was, like, saying, oh, that, I was yelling that I was too old to be treated like garbage. So, yeah. So, But I don't expect that I'll meet that. I mean, they've usually kept to their little word that they won't, treat me in that kind of mean way, Except, a few years ago, I was there standing around and one guy was brushing in really close, looking over my shoulder like they were interested in whatever was over my shoulder. And literally they were like breathing on my face, pretty much. And that was a bit of an uncomfortable closeness, and I was just playing dance and tossing my head around. Oh, something interesting there, is it? And literally my mother was like in the direction that they were looking, and she was sort of fuming, in her way. She had her arms crossed, she had a pruny face, and she was staring like, oh, there's a sexual attack, because she doesn't like to go to any theme parks because she finds them too off. The way you're treated isn't likable. She would rather spend money to go somewhere else. So she tries to tell us, don't bother with that. You'll end up getting raped, and you'll end up being injured, and it's going to make me feel bad, and stuff like that. So, but I still go because, home's a little bit of a negative thing too, and sometimes I just want to escape it. Sometimes it's nice to just visit someplace else, but I do have a penchant more for the city than the Gold Coast because it's actually too far from me. I get distressed when I'm on the trains for so long, so I don't actually like to travel that far, to be honest. It's not like I can't walk around or anything. I just get distressed, like spending hours on a train just to get to a place, which, is a bit boring, so... But still, I visit every now and again, but, and I'm not expecting a movie. I just like to visit. I don't know why, but if I got put under fire again, I wouldn't go, but I haven't really been under fire for a very long time, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I should go visit. I mean, it's really stupid, isn't it? But I do visit sometimes. My mother just hates it, though. They're like, are you still into that park? Like, because everyone's like saying it's for teenagers and kids, not for adults. And you're like, well, I'm being a teenager as an adult, I'm just sitting around, being treated like crap. And so, why not? But I don't want to be injured or anything, and I don't want anyone getting too much from me. But if they do, hopefully I'll get away from it, and that'll be that. I'll probably just go to the casino in the city stores